My name is Katelyn Oakley, and I am going to be talking about how chemistry improves our lives through dishwashing. So, everyone has had a sink full of dirty dishes before. Dirty dishes are basically just dishes that have food stuck on them, usually dried if they've been sitting in your sink for a long time. Hopefully not. Hopefully you wash them right away. But if they're dried, it makes them even more difficult to clean. And these food particles are usually infused with some sort of oil or fat or lipid that is going to cause them to be more difficult to clean. This is because the lipids and the fats that are in the food do not bond easily with water. But this is where chemistry comes in, and chemistry helps us to be able to actually get these dishes clean. So there are kind of three different steps and processes to make this possible, and those are water, soap, and some sort of scrubbing device. So first, let's talk about water. Water is made of 2 hydrogen atoms and 1 oxygen atom, H2O. It has a it's hydrophilic, and it's polar because of its shape. It is not, these two little hydrogen atoms do not cancel each other out, and has a covalent bond, meaning that its electrons, the electrons of the hydrogen atoms are shared with the electrons of the oxygen atom. So let's talk about how water works to clean dishes. So if you've washed dishes before, you know that just using water is not the most efficient and effective way to clean dishes. However, there are a few things that you can change about your water to make it more effective. So the first thing is temperature. If you try to wash your dishes with some cold water, it's not going to go very well for you. But if you have hot water, this will improve the efficiency of your dishwashing because in hot water, there's more energy, the molecules are moving faster, they're going to be able to break down substances easier, they're going to be able to melt those fats and lipids. Now, the other factor that affects dishwashing is pressure. If you've ever been in an industrial kitchen before and you have one of those really high pressure sprayers, you know that you are able to get a lot of food off simply by spraying really hot water on it. This is simply just because the pressure on the dish is just very forceful, and it's able to just break down the molecules with sheer force. So that is our water portion of the section. Next we have soap. So as you can see, we've got our hydrophobic heads and our hydrophilic heads and our hydrophobic tails. Okay. So some wonderful person invented soap so that it would be able to bond both with oils and lipids and fats and with water. Okay, so that's why we have our hydrophilic end and our hydrophobic end. So how does soap work? Well, like I just said, the hydrophobic end bonds with the oils and the fats on the food, and the hydrophilic end binds with the water. So as the hydrophobic ends bond with the fat, and then the hydrophilic ends bond with the water, pulling the fat away. And eventually, if you do this over and over again, you will be able to pull all of the dirt off. Now, some dishes might need a lot of soaking, but eventually you can get almost any dish clean just from this method. So here we have a little picture of this. We've got our plate here. We've got our dirt or food particle here. We've got our non-polar tails, and we've got our polar heads, okay? So our non-polar tails are going to attach to our food particle right here. And then our polar hydrophilic heads are going to pull that particle away with the water. And as you do this, if you have more and more water, as you know, if you keep your water running, you know that the oil kind of mixes with the water, and then it all kind of runs down the sink, and you kind of have to change your water every once in a while because it keeps getting dirty, because it keeps picking up new particles. So dirty water means clean dishes, and that's a good thing. So, and even just soap and water are able to accomplish dishwashing pretty well. However, your hand is not a very good scrubbing device because it does not have much friction. So something like a sponge or a rag is going to both be an applicator for your soap, and it's going to be something that provides friction, which just kind of aids with the breaking down of the oil and dirt molecules. So the third step in process of dishwashing is the help of the sponge. So all together here, we've got your dirty dishes. Okay, so you've got your dirty dishes with your stuck-on spaghetti and your macaroni and cheese, and they've dried, and then you've got your water. Okay, so your water begins the breakdown process of the dishes. If you use super hot water and high pressure, then you are going to be able to go ahead and get a decent amount of that dirt and oil broken down. But with the help of the soap and the sponge, you're going to be able to use the soap with its hydrophilic head and its hydrophobic tails to pull those particles away from the dish. And the sponge is going to help even more with that. As you use your hand and you use friction, then you are going to be able to really, really break down those tough molecules and be able to pull them away. And as you add more and more water, all of that dirt will wash down the drain and you will have clean dishes. Another chemistry fact is that if these dishes are wet and you leave them out, eventually the H2O will evaporate into the air, becoming a gas form, and you will have clean, dry dishes. So that's it. Here are my references. Thank you for watching.